Philly 500 is losing his damn mind. Oh my God! Come on, please. If I could have one thing, just give me. Let Carolina win, just to shut them up.
Thielen killing us. 52 seconds left.
Second and 4. Lola's saying, "Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Are you shitting me? Take that, Philly! Take that shit! Oh my God! Panthers with a touchdown! Eagles, you suck! You suck! You what? Oh. Okay. I'm back now. No catch. Never mind. I'm trying to see what happened.
Please drop it. Oh, he dropped it.
Did he?
He dropped it. Oh my God, what a break by the Eagles.
He did drop it.
Oh my God.
Okay. Let me eat crow.
Oh my God. Hey, come on, man. We gotta end this shit right now. I can't put up with this right now. Come on, man. This is ridiculous. Come on, man.
Good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here. Of course, Joe Boo is at the Red Brick House, but I got Joe Bear. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here, and let's wake up the football gods here on this game day. We got the Cowboys versus the Cincinnati Bengals on what was a crazy day yesterday. Yesterday, teams that we thought were dead in the water ended up looking really good. Teams that we thought were great kind of got brought down to earth and scared this week. That started out on Thursday night, the Lions going crazy and taking all the risk and things, finding a way to win over the Green Bay Packers, which kind of opened the door for the Eagle fans to say, man, we're a better team. We're a better team than the Lions, man. We got, we talking Super Bowls and things like that. That's literally what I ended up listening to from all those Eagle fans out there. They were going ape shit. Literally, that they got it made, man. They got it made. And then last night we saw Kansas City struggling, of course, taking an early lead on the Chargers, and the Chargers storming back, but again, surviving a game that they could have very easily lost. And for us, we've got the Cincinnati Bengals tonight and the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers. Oh my God! As you saw there, the passion. I'm not going to lie to you. Football means a lot. It means a lot to me in my life. You saw the Eagles possibly losing that game, and the passion, that was real. That was like, please let it happen, please. Oh, and boom. Okay. It didn't happen. You saw Philly 500 in shock. That's the great thing about football right there. Two edges of the sword of teams. And the thing that's crazy is now the Eagles have some problems. I just want to go to Lord Brunson's tape here for a second, because A.J. Brown ain't happy. Kellen Moore's offense is not making A.J. Brown happy. Now to their defense, they are in a great position. I wish we had Eagles problems and things, but they are one-dimensional. They are the Saquon Barkley show. And A.J. Brown ain't happy about it. Listen to him after the game.
Good enough. What are some things you think that the offense needs to improve on? Passing.
AJ, I know everybody wants to get in a rhythm. And Devontae was acknowledging that. Receivers, just like running backs, want to get in rhythm. How hard is it as a receiver to get into a rhythm when you guys are only throwing the ball 20 times?
Incredibly tough.
The guys who never liked him talking.
Wow. Lord Brunson in the helmet. Okay. All right. Lord Brunson in the helmet. All righty. Here we go. So, my camera is off. It's messed up. Hold on. See, this is broke-ass media. It's moved a little bit. They ain't happy. They ain't happy. And the fact that Carolina, a team who most people say is one of the worst teams in football, they got pretty close to beating Carolina last week. Beating Kansas City last week, and they damn sure had the opportunity. I tell you what, if it weren't for their mistakes, I'm sitting here watching them going for a deep out in 3rd and 7 before the half that ends up being an interception that leads to giving them great field position and leading to one of the touchdowns. They don't make that. They go ahead and just punt the football. I think they win that game, even without that drop. That's how close it was for the Eagles to lose that game. So the Eagles definitely, hey, we won, but how good a team are we really? 49ers? Well, 49ers, against a bad team, came back and they looked great. They looked like the 49er machine that we've all grown to hate. The Buffalo Bills couldn't do us a favor. The Bills go down, even though, how do you have your quarterback do something that nobody's ever done in football? Throw 3 touchdown passes and have 3 rushing touchdowns and lose. How does that happen? How does that happen? So unfortunately for us, going into this game tonight, which is a must-win, technically the season's not over if we lose. But if we lose tonight, we've got like a 1% chance of making the playoffs. Not that winning really helps us a lot because we've got the Cardinals. Fortunately, they lost. The Cardinals in front of us. We've got the Rams in front of us. We got the 49ers in front of us. And we have, of course, the Commanders. And everybody is fighting for that one spot that's left that the Commanders have at the moment. So there's no margin for error. We have to win and hope that some of these other guys start losing. Now, if you want me to try and give you the glass half full, the Cardinals and 49ers and the Rams, they'll all be playing each other. So one of them will get knocked back some, or 2 of them will get knocked back some. But you also need the Commanders to get knocked back. So it's not an easy road to hoe by, Tampa Bay. Forgot about Tampa Bay is also up there too. So we've got some real problems that we have to deal with if we are going to make the playoffs. We do have some reinforcements coming back for the first time this season. It looks like we're going to actually have our secondary together, and we're going to need that because Deron Bland, Jordan Lewis, and Diggs have not played together all season. All season, they have not played a game together. It's crazy that here we are, week 14. This is the first week that we have them together. So, and Marshawn Nealon is back and kind of getting in the groove and things. Micah Parsons looks to be all world. And Micah Parsons, Orlando Brown is out. Look for Micah Parsons to feast. Look for Micah Parsons to have an incredible game tonight. He's at 6.5 sacks. He desperately wants to get to that 10-sack range. He wants to keep the playoff hopes alive. This Cowboy team needs to come out and play really well. The way they do that is finally using what the Cowboys have discovered, which is a running game. That a running game is all important when we're talking about football. You don't want to pay a running back, I get it. But the reality is the Eagles without Saquon Barkley, they're not the same team. In fact, I say they're average at best without Saquon. That's literally how important Saquon Barkley is on that roster. You look at the Baltimore Ravens with what Derrick Henry has brought to them. That's a game changer for them. And even with Kansas City, Pacheco is an important cog on that. You must be able to run the football. And with Joe Burrow having the numbers that he has, Joe Burrow will be the best quarterback that they've faced all season, without a doubt. 30 TDs, 5 interceptions, and you're going to need to control the clock. And the best way to do that is running the football. Now, Tyler Guyton, of course, didn't practice on Friday, so I'm assuming that he's probably not going to play. So this offensive line where we've had so many different combinations of things, seemingly having gotten a little bit of a groove the last 2 weeks. And I will say with Dexter Lawrence on that defensive line of the Giants, that they actually played really, really well. You see Cooper Beebe, who is actually becoming a guy that you look at and say, yeah, we got Cooper Beebe for the next 10 years or so at center, that we've got some stability there. Of course, we got Tyler Smith, who's been, all-pro guard and who can play tackle. You say, okay, we got some cornerstone pieces right here to start with. And Brock Hoffman, will we find out that Brock Hoffman can be our next Zach Martin? He's played really, really well in his absence. So these are questions that more than anything else that we're going to get answered over the next couple of weeks. Playoffs, as much as I would like to be able to make them, there's very slim chances of that happening. But this is the time to grow and get ready for next year. So let's listen to Babe Loffenberg talking about the Cowboys on 105.3 The Fan on preview of the Bengals game.
Pick it, and they love picking it and doing all that stuff. But once they get, all they care about what's under the tree. They don't care what's above the presents. They just want to know what's underneath the tree.
Yeah, what age do the kids get tired of decorating it?
Yeah,
Mine have never helped me once.
No?
No.
Really?
They have no desire.
Oh, gosh. We used to make it a big kind of night.
Yeah.
It was like a full night.
Yeah.
And I'd go about halfway through, then I'd be drunk about halfway through, and I'd say, kids, finish up. Dad's going up to have another glass of wine. You guys knock yourself out here. Okay, hey, you ready? And this coming from a man who worked at a Christmas tree lot.
You?
In high school.
All right, how much were the trees back in the 40s?
Oh God. They weren't 40s. Honestly, you can't remember, but I'll bet you they're like $20 or something.
Yes.
$20?
Something like that.
Yeah, dude.
With those California prices?
Yes, California. That was Los Angeles, baby.
All right, you got your trivia partner back in Peyton.
I love it. I'm ready. I got a good one, I think, today.
All right.
Okay, you ready? Joe Burrow, who, of course, we're going to see Monday night. He was Comeback Player of the Year in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Only one player has won Comeback Player of the Year in the NFL twice. Can you name that guy?
Alex Smith?
No, good guess. Good guess.
Twice. Dang it.
Is Bobby not doing the show today?
I'm here. I'm thinking.
I don't hear you.
Adrian Peterson?
I will tell you, he was a quarterback.
Oh, it's quarterback.
He was a quarterback.
It was, I don't know. I'm like completely blanking on this one.
You know who knows.
Vince Ferragamo.
What decade?
Ryan Tannehill.
What decade?
Decade of the 2000s.
2000s. Kurt Warner. Matt
No, never
Stafford.
could guess.
Pepe.
No.
So you got to go back to 2006 and 2008. Chad Pennington.
Oh,
The Jets and the
Noodle
Dolphins.
Arm. Noodle Arm, yeah.
this is I feel like this is a dumb award anyway, but that's another segment. I feel like we're very inconsistent with. Is it the most gruesome injury that you step back
Right,
on the
no,
field for?
right.
Is it you had a down year?
Right.
You're exactly right. And I kind of had to fill Peyton in a little bit and say, he was a good quarterback. I thought he was a good quarterback.
Yeah.
But I said, he was hurt a lot, as evidenced by the fact that he won the Comeback Player of the Year twice.
Babe, did Chad Pennington have the weakest arm you've ever seen for a successful guy? Who else is in that running?
Gosh, he's right up there. Brad Johnson did not have a great arm, but obviously was a good NFL player.
Yeah.
There's a few guys like that. But again, Pennington hurt his shoulder, and I don't think it was ever quite the same after.
Yeah.
But I always liked Chad Pennington. Really did.
That's a really good question, Babe.
Oh, there we go.
What do you make of all the McCarthy return talk here as of late?
I'm just kind of tickled because 1 minute, after
we want to get rid of
he was gone.
He's gone.
He's coming back, and then all of a sudden we're discussing. The owner's talking. The former Hall of Fame quarterback is talking. His own quarterback is talking. Yeah. Everybody wants him back. So I don't know what's going to happen, and I honestly do not like to get into predictions of people getting fired and putting percentages on it. But it's an interesting I don't think the conversation, quite honestly, should have ever been brought up in the first place.
Well, that was us that did it.
Well, no, but I just mean I understand the conversation. Let me rephrase that.
Please do.
Well, I understand the conversation comes up, but I mean, you look at the last 3 years. It's the only team that's won 12 games in each of the last 3. Kansas City hasn't done it. So, I mean, when you've got a coach that's winning 12 games a year, hey, Mike Tomlin, I know the playoffs. Mike Tomlin hasn't won a playoff game in 7 years. 7 years. His name doesn't
7
get
years,
discussed.
Leroy.
Matter of fact, he got an extension. And I'm all for it. Trust me. I mean, I think he's a heck of a coach. The Steelers do things the right way. But he hasn't won a playoff game in 7 years. So the notion that, well, McCarthy hasn't got to the Super Bowl, well, you know, that happens. The one thing you have to guard against is you get to the end of the year and you say, well, we lost our quarterback. We lost Dak. They were 3-5 when they had Dak, and we're not playing good football.
Right.
They had Mike at that time. So you can't, at the end of the season, delude yourself into thinking, gosh, if we had Dak. It's a little bit like Cincinnati. They've got Joe Burrow. So they cannot sit here when they miss the play. Because you say, no, you had one, and
He brings up a great point.
Years any quarterback going.
Dave Laufenberg joining us here on 105.3 The Fan. And I'll get to Burrow here in a second, but you mentioned, because Dak talked, and he talked about Mike, and then Mike said, I hadn't heard that. But how much do players hear what is said in the media from coaches, players? Like, how much do they actually hear, and how much do they just really have no idea about?
When you said Mike said he hadn't heard that?
Yeah, McCarthy said, because Dak talked about, on his terms,
Right.
it'd be great to have
Kind of
Dak
throw him
on.
under the bus.
Yeah, I think you heard that. I think that word gets back to you. Don't you?
I do, yeah. I was just wondering, do players actually hear stuff? But I guess they do.
You know what's funny? I'll go back to when I was playing. Totally different world. No social media, all that stuff. As Sean might point out, the newspapers were written on tablets, as opposed to paper. But so I made it a point not to read the paper. But people would come to you and say, "Wow, did you see what so and so wrote about you? Or did you see this?" So they always. That word always filters back to you, and especially in today's world, it's instantaneous. But no, but I think the other part of that is the quarterback, for the most part, is going to support that head coach, and the head coach is going to, for the most part, support his quarterback, provided that you don't have some crazy situation where the coach is incompetent or the quarterback sucks, right?
Aaron Rodgers and Mike
I always say,
McCarthy.
you pick up a media guide. There's only two people in that entire media guide who have their records next to their name, and it's the coach and the quarterback. So you're joined at the hip.
Can
go ahead.
Sorry, can you remember a quarterback having as good of a year as Burrow while playing on a team with as bad of a record?
I really can't, because I know they don't come from losing teams, but you can make the argument that Joe Burrow, it's the player of the year. You really could. He's got 30 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He's carrying his team. They just have no defense. It's crazy. They've allowed 34 points 6 times this year. 34. He's carrying the team, but he's carrying them to right now a losing record. But how about this? Bengals have lost 3 straight. They've lost 4 of their last 5, and they're 6-point favorites on the road.
How crazy is that?
I don't know how many times that has happened.
Yeah.
Babe, when you look at it, though, you talk about how good their offense has been relative to the defense, giving up a lot of points and struggling in that front. How many points do you think it's going to take from Dallas to be able to win this game? Is this something where we're looking at, hey, you're going to need to at least put up 30? I stunned him.
Oh, hello?
There we go.
Hello?
Yeah, babe. Hi.
Sorry, I lost you there. I heard how many points?
How many points does Dallas need to score to be able to win this game? Are we looking at 30 as a baseline?
Looking at it, you would say yes, but I always say you play the game that's presented to you that day.
Yep.
How many times have we seen where we think it's going to be a high-scoring game and it turns out low-scoring, or vice versa? But just the way Cincinnati has been playing offense, I mean, you want to say you got to get to 30. The Cowboys have only got to 30 twice, so this year. And both times they've needed special teams touchdowns, right? They scored 30 against Cleveland. They had a punt return touchdown there. Scored 30 against Washington. They had 2 kickoff return touchdowns. They had 28 last week against the Giants, but that was with an interception return touchdown. So they're going to have to manufacture points somewhere. Special teams have obviously, they're dynamic with Turpin, but I think you got to get to 30. But again, you play the game that's presented to you that day. In terms of, don't go in thinking, okay, we gotta go for it on 4th and 2 at our own 10 because we got to score 30. So hopefully you can keep it under control a little bit. But we'll see. I mean, Cincinnati is, as we know, is really outstanding offensively, and I love
their defense.
The little running back, Chase Brown. I mean, he's been fantastic.
Babe, explain to us what Mike Zimmer has been doing on the film and the X's and the O's to help with this turnaround. We know they got B.A.M back. We know they got Micah back. I know all about players, blah, blah, blah. But, how good of a coaching job has this turnaround been from Zimmer? What are you seeing?
Well, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I don't think you could say, well, I know they got Micah back and I know they got B.A.M back, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I mean, that's why they were bad. They didn't
have
really
players.
But they were bad with them. They were bad with Micah to your Dak point.
They were. It was to me, it was a weird year defensively, and I know we're not finished with it, but how many guys did they bring in after training camp started? I mean, veteran players.
Thank
right?
you.
I mean,
thank you. Hold on.
Constructed to play.
Thank you. You know how many times I've said that? I said that sitting right next to Zeke's dad. That you can't bring in players after training camp and think that you're going to throw them out on the field. Look, did that scare you, Leroy? That you're going to be able to throw them out on the field and think that they're going to be ready to play, week 1. You just didn't. You see Carl Lawson, who's becoming a force. Now, what if they had brought in Carl Lawson during OTAs? What if they had brought him in, made sure he was in shape, understood the assignments, and you got that production that he's doing now, week 1? See, that's part of the philosophy of the Cowboys that kill him.
Play the type of defense Mike Zimmer played for a good reason. He wasn't here. They were constructed to play the kind of defense that Dan Quinn played, which meant we're going to play 2 linebackers, and one of them is going to be basically a safety. So I think they had a tough transition from that. But no, they're definitely playing better. The players get used to the scheme and what Zimmer wants or expects from them, I think. But they're off to a horrific start, and as you said, with Tank, with Micah, they were just getting bludgeoned. But they're getting guys back. They seem to be playing the defense better, and also, as you know, players have to get used to Zimmer's system, but Zimmer also has to get used to the players. So are we asking this guy, whoever this guy is, to do something that he can't? And I think really, in a big part, you see the usage, to me, of Overshown and Donovan Wilson. Those guys, as the season has progressed, have really started to flourish in this system. And again, Zimmer's figuring out what to do with Overshown. So, there is a little play in that, but again, I just don't think they were constructed at the start of the season, or even to this day, to play the kind of defense schematically that Zimmer wants to play.
We only got 30 seconds. I'm going to finish this with reverse trivia.
Okay.
RJ and Bobby, you guess one of the top 3 songs on Babe Laufenberg's Spotify Wrapped. Babe, you will.
Okay, I'll leave it right there. Okay, it's funny. It's funny that I hear Babe Laufenberg say something that I bring up all the time. The Cowboys, they always figure we're going to sign a bunch of guys cheap at the end of training camp, and we're going to expect them to be able to play really well. Jordan Phillips, you made a trade for him at training camp, at the end of training camp. You can't expect guys to go ahead and start the season that just got there to be able to plug him in. That is fantasy football, where, we'll just trade this guy and bring in somebody new. It doesn't work that way. You need to, and this is what I hope that the Cowboys have learned, is you need to start the season with as many of these players in your facilities to learn and get coached up. There's not that. What you doing? Just chill. Leroy, are you talking on the mic? Are you talking on the mic? Can I finish? You need to have as many of these guys in the facility as soon as possible to learn your system. And here's where just firing the coaches and starting all over with the Cowboys philosophy, it's not going to work real well at the beginning of a season. All right, you good people, we're going to have a great time. I got to head on down to the Red Brick House. I'm happy because my buddy Jet is back in town, and he'll be coming over tonight. Going to see my sister. I haven't seen her since last year, and we're going to have a great time. As always, I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you real soon. Peace.